Hey guys, DC Multiverse dude here, how are you? I'm still suffering from a head cold, so my voice is screwed up, but I still thought I'd bring you a quick look at the new DC Multiverse Blue Beetle movie, Blue Beetle figure. Now this is the battle mode version of the figure from the Blue Beetle movie. There is obviously just a standard Blue Beetle figure, which is the exact same figure, but instead of coming with these wings and these alternate hands, it comes with a couple of weapons and a sword. It's kind of ironic. This is called the battle mode version. I would have thought the one that's got the arm cannon and the weapons and the sword would be the battle mode version, but you know, that's just me. Anyway, I've picked this one up because I really couldn't go past those alternate hands. I just think they, you know, could be really good for posing and that sort of thing. Have a look here. Blue Beetle battle mode from the Blue Beetle movie. Some pretty neat artwork on the back. I think this figure works really well as a comic-inspired Blue Beetle. That's why I picked it up. Look, irrespective of whether the movie's good or a flop, and let's face it, it probably will be, I think this is a really cool figure to go with a Teen Titans or Justice League. I think it's classic enough in design that it should fit in with a comic collection. But look, without further ado, let's get him open and let's see if that actually holds true. All right, so here's Blue Beetle unpackaged with everything that comes in the box. You see we've got the two wings, which we'll demonstrate in a minute. We've got two sets of interchangeable hands, the DC Multiverse display stand as per usual, and the trading card. There's the art, Blue Beetle, from the Blue Beetle movie, and there's the bio. You can pause if you want to have a read of Hame Rare's bio. Now, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Hame. Let me know in the comments if I've buggered that up. But yeah, there it is. Now, in terms of the figure itself, first impressions out of the box, I'm just going to take him off his display stand. First impressions out of the box are, this is a great figure. This is really good. Feels really good in the hand. Joints feel kind of stiff enough to be hold in place, but loose enough that, you know, he's posable. And what I'm struck by immediately is the uniqueness of this buck and this mold. It's completely unique. You know, I was getting a little bit tired of the John Kent body buck and the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body buck that have been appearing everywhere. This is sort of getting back to that DC Multiverse standard of just unique sculpting. You can see it is packed with detail. There is texture and line work and detail everywhere. The head sculpt has been cast in that metallic blue, but the black paint and the yellow paint have been applied really cleanly. It's just really good, guys. And this, you know, darker part, I'm not sure how well it comes out on camera, but it's just packed with texture and paint. It's been given a wash, so that metallic wash means it's not just flat black plastic like a lot of the figures tend to be. You know, it's just, frankly, it's beautiful. You just don't see that with every McFarlane figure these days. You know, there's a variance. Some are very plain, not much paint. This one's got a fair bit of paint and excellent sculpting. You know, it's reminiscent of the recent page punches in the Aquaman line, the Aquaman page punches rather, where you sort of had that great mix of incredibly detailed sculpt and sophisticated paint. So immediately, just to hold, to look at, to touch, you know, a winner. In terms of articulation, the only limitation I found is really around these shoulder pauldrons. You know, you can rotate, but to get any sort of lift, the pauldrons crush up against here, and it's hard to get anything more than that. Got all the standard butterfly joints, wrist articulation. It's all pretty standard. The most interesting things to note are probably his head doesn't tilt up very far or down very far. So you've got a very limited range of motion on the head, can spin 360 degrees. He can swivel 360 degrees at the waist. Crunch is, you know, almost non-existent, but he can bend back quite a bit. So that's not nothing. Legs, we can do the splits without any problems. No thigh rotation at all. Double jointed knees like you would expect, and the standard toe and ankle articulation. So immediately it's a decently articulated figure. Let's check out some of the accessories and see how it all comes together once those are put in place. Okay, so to put his wings on, I sort of have figured out the way to do it is you remove this little backpack piece from his rear and attach the wings to these little plugs here. And then the idea being that those will port into these two little holes here. I'm not sure how easy this will be. It's my first time doing it. Hopefully it works. And of course, I've put the wings on backwards. Look at that, completely ridiculous. Let's try again. Okay, wings are on the right way this time because I'm a complete goose. Let's see if we can port this back into Blue Beetle's backpack. There we go. And there he is, Blue Beetle with his wings attached. They look really good. These wings look excellent. They're sculpted nicely and have been given a wash, which I think really brings out the detail, makes them look really insect-like, quite realistic. The one thing I would say is that these wings are not really articulated at all. They don't do much. So once they're plugged in, and they're not moving. So I would have liked the option for those wings to fold down just for display space reasons, but you know, that's probably being a bit picky. In terms of overall aesthetic though, pretty awesome. Now let's check out some of his hands. His standard fists are just punchy fists, you know, but I think we can get a little bit more interesting than that. So let's check out some of the alternate hands. All right, so here we have some alternate hands. We've got our Harrison Ford point. And if you know, Harrison Ford loves to do this finger point in all his movies. Han Solo, Indiana Jones, Jack Ryan, Harrison Ford point. And we've also got this cool little thumbs up. I just think they're really awesome. Immediate injection of personality, and I wish McFarlane would do this more often. It can't cost that much more to chuck in some extra hands. And for these, you know, amazing characters in the DC line, we should be giving them as much personality as possible. So these hands are really awesome. All right, and here we have the other set of hands. We have sort of an expressive open palm hand, and we've got the very neat little peace sign hands, which probably my favorite hands. You know, it's very Spider-Man-esque, very attitude heavy. It sort of conveys the personality of Jaime Reyes. I really love it. So big win for these hands. And again, you know, that's the reason why I picked this version up over the regular version with the weapons. I just think the hands are too good to pass up. You know, just really great stuff. All the hands are good. What I would say is, you know, obviously this can only be used as like a left hand. That can only be used as a right hand. There's a bit of limitation around that, but I don't see how you get around that. So yeah, overall, really good figure. Should come with a flight stand. Let's face it, you can't have these wings and not a flight stand. I've noticed McFarlane has become a little bit stingier with the flight stands lately. We're not seeing them, you know, with characters that we would expect to have flight stands, which is a bit disappointing. I hope we're not cheaping out, but I have a few hanging around anyway. So that is Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle. I'm just going to do one quick comparison and or a couple of comparisons, and then we'll wrap it up with my final thoughts. All right, so first comparison I wanted to do was with the Mega Figure Carapax from this wave. I did a review of this guy. I had mixed thoughts about his overall value, but I can't deny that when you sort of look at these two together, two things stand out. They're a great looking pair with the contrasting colors, the red and the blue. I mean, that's by design. The comics had the same idea, red versus blue. Really cool. They look awesome together, you know. And each Blue Beetle here gives Carapax some purpose, some life. So I'd be saying if you're thinking of getting Carapax, you definitely need Blue Beetle to go with it, is what I would say. The other thing that this really shows is the sort of lacking value of Carapax. I mean, he's not that much bigger. He's double the price, and he's not double the plastic. He's maybe 50% more the plastic. So I query whether this should have been a mega figure, and I think McFarlane really needs an intermediate price point between the standard figure and the mega figure for when he wants to do things like this. And, you know, Sabak from the Black Adam movie and those other figures that just aren't really mega figures, you know. If they're not a builder figure, and they're not as big as a mega figure should be, then there's got to be something else. Got to be something in between, a medium price point, rather than shoving this into a mega figure box and price point. It just doesn't work. You know, this was 40 Australian dollars and this was 70 Australian dollars, almost double the price. It's silly. This should be about 50 bucks, in my opinion. 55 at the outside, 60 at the absolute maximum. So, but anyway, we're here to talk about Blue Beetle. The other comparison I wanted to do was obviously with Ted Cord Blue Beetle. You know, this really throws into stark relief the difference in aesthetic between the comic look and the movie look. It also reflects the difference in sort of the different iterations of Blue Beetle. This is a much more busy, detailed design in the comics as well. So I think you can just about get away with posing these two together. But there is a little bit of, you know, disconformity and tension in art design. I still think we're probably not going to get a Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle in a comic iteration for quite some time, because I think this is just good enough to serve that purpose. So if you're on the fence and you want a Blue Beetle figure to go with Ted Cord, you want a Jaime Reyes, I think this is the one to get, and I think you won't be disappointed. I think this is one of the best figures McFarlane's done this year. He's great fun, he's got personality, decent accessories. Whether you get this one or the standard version, that's up to you. I'm not going to get the standard version. I don't want the sword or the weapons. They're all just sort of big and unwieldy. I think the wings are probably cooler. Again, the main thing is these hands. You know, they're just cool. See? Fun. Yep, so overall, giving this figure a 8 out of 10. I think it's definitely worthwhile. I hope the movie doesn't bomb completely, but let's face it, it's going to bomb. But at the very end of the day, we got this awesome figure out of it, and he's great, and I think you should buy him. So if this has been helpful for you, please leave a comment if you've got any questions, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff, and I'll see you again with another review soon. Thanks. Bye. This video was brought to you with the support of Fett's Hideout Toys and Collectibles. For a great range of toys from DC Multiverse to Black Series to Marvel Legends, Hot Toys and more, visit Fett's Hideout Toys and Collectibles and use the offer code DCDUDE. That's DCDUDE for an exclusive discount month to month. Could be 5% off or $5 off at checkout. Try the code, see what you get, place an order with Fett's, and you won't be disappointed. And we thank Fett's for their continued support of this channel.